Hello and welcome back, or welcome. I'm going to enjoy some coffee here with my toxic water. Nothing, nothing makes that toxic water taste better than some good coffee. Um, hmm, Says I got no audio. Um, oh, I'll try again and see what we got. Oh, there we go. All right, that's YouTube for you. Now, I have been selecting live chat replay, and YouTube, in the majority of the cases, is not putting up the live chat uh, replay when the lives are done. So I've got a notice here in this live chat for YouTube, as well as putting it out there. A lot of you have a hard time watching my videos because you just get the spinning circle. AI, military, whatever, whoever is stepping on my voice, well, if it's the White Hat Alliance, I understand. What I'm bringing forward is so powerful, and you're doing your job while the American people are asleep, and you have your plans. I get that. So maybe it's the military that's stepping on my voice, but the military gave me recognition. All those flyovers when I opened up the Superior Court of the Kalkaska County, Superior Court of the Kalkaska County. I believe that to be a mathematically correct legal sentence. And with the proceedings so far for every case, every court that I have conducted, which has been going on for years, I did that at the highest level, not federal prosecutor. No. Higher, one of the people. But without a superior court, without a titled building, titled infrastructure. I did it using postal mechanics and the judicial process. Because in my previous business endeavors, I did spend a lot of time with those British agents, and actually paralegaled for some of my slave cases. Yeah. Which were business. They were not criminal. They were business, and they were serious. So I got a good handle on interrogatories and that administrative process and keeping things concise, not run on. So when you get to your admits, it's very specific. And at that point in time, I didn't know about quantum grammar. I didn't really comprehend the babble that we've all been spellbound with. And I did have the realization that the government is warring with us, and I studied the maxims of law, and applied the maxims of law to my works, and then the realization of quantum grammar and virtually all contracts are void because there isn't a legal sentence on them, and it really started to concern me about all the work that I have done as prosecutor of my own cause, my own cases. Um, and yet, the majority of my cases I have read. And in all my cases, a jury is needed. So I don't think anything I've done is disqualified or doesn't have legs or anything of that sort. No, just the opposite. And those multiple flyovers, which I've done the videos on, I've done the talks on. If you want to know about that, you gotta go back there. Just look at the titles; you'll figure it out. Um, that's recognition, and and that makes me feel in my heart, in my soul, in my gut, that for those of you who know what this will mean when I say I have the support of 200 generals, um, I really feel that, and I feel that at this point the military has my back as far as security goes. I believe that the um, the technology to oh surveil the communications and the channels of the um, demonic fox is very well established, and I believe that the alliance has got my back at this point. Which, whether it's that's the case or not, uh, I'm not letting my guard down for shit, because that would be really stupid, wouldn't it? All right. Um, we got to get into the the crux of what Russell's bringing forward. In part one, we got through 5 minutes and 17 seconds with a lot of breaks and me doing commentary. Part two, I played a good segment of that from part one straight through without the commentary. Um, Listening to this stuff repetitively, I think, is important because there's so much that you can gain knowledge on, and connecting the dots and comprehending and putting all this shit together so it becomes stupidly simple for you. Part two, we got to 9 minutes and 27 seconds. I think it's somewhere around the 17-minute mark. I'm going to cut it because it gets into something that's sensitive to YouTube, and they might like to strike me or delete my channel or like that. So um, I'm not sure how far we're going to get into that because tonight, because just prior to coming on live, I'm talking 30 minutes. I got an alert from one of the Rumble channels, a Gene Decode video. Now, Gene Decode is just republishing another man's work, and I can't recall this guy's handle. Maybe it'll come to me before I wrap this up. Um, he has Derek Johnson and SG on as guest, And so in the description of this video, I have added the link to that talk. It's about an hour talk. I have not had the opportunity to listen to it. I started listening to it, and I know this guy. I know his presentation. I got to fast forward here 5-10 minutes, and I just slid. And Derek Johnson was just finishing up making some points on what's going on in Hawaii, and then SGNN comes on, and I found it very interesting what SGNN had to say. So I'm going to play just a couple of minutes of that, and then we'll get back over to what Russell's bringing forward. So one of the reasons I'm going to play this for you is Derek Johnson and SGNN, they bring a lot of good information forward. But just like everybody else, they leave a lot of shit out. It may be because it's not their forte. It may be because they haven't connected the dots. It could be because they're under contract and they're not allowed to say certain things. Some of these people are getting the algorithms pushing their shit out. I got the algorithms suppressing the shit out of me. So what I found interesting is confirmation to what I have speculated and made public, which is that the T-Man was selected. He was acting president in a military position. I have stated that I believe that the first arrest that will shock the world is going to be revealed as the T-Man being arrested. And I thought maybe that happened back 2014, 2015, maybe earlier. So no need to belabor that any longer. Unlock this device here because I am thumb capable. And we'll open up this Rumble. And I'm picking this. Oh, I guess I gotta go this way. I'm picking this up at the 16-minute and 15-second mark. And so you're gonna listen to SGNN for just a short period of time here. And then I'll close that out, and then we'll get back over to Russell's video. Here we go.
Maintain the lines and monitor your perimeter and things like that. And you do take, unfortunately, losses in that process. But, you know, highlighting the trafficking thing and sort of, I want to bounce off of Hawaii and talk about a much greater issue here. And one of the reasons I think Hawaii could go, you know, both ways, you know, honestly, on the breakdown and what we're trying to figure out actually happened here. We're moving the needle forward so rapidly as it pertains to just destroying pedophile networks all around the world. As a matter of fact, just a couple of days prior to the training accident that killed 2 beautiful U.S. Marines down there in Australia, we busted a large Australian trafficking ring that went back to a mat, and we had more than 150 kids rescued from that ring. So I think that this is very much a back and forth where we're fighting, you know, the most important areas first, right? We're maintaining critical homeland defense. In other words, we've got, you know, our WMD deterrence, you know, under certain commands and controls. We've got ourselves equipped, I think, in the necessary ways, maybe the bare minimum ways, right? But the necessary ways to disrupt enemy weapon systems and things like that. We know that the National Guard through their cyber divisions, and we know that Cyber Command and NSA have all been tracking and have been extremely, extremely active electronically over the last 3 years, but especially over the last 7 to 8 months. We've got cyber incursions happening all around the world, right? So we're seeing this back and forth where we're destabilizing them and they're punching back, and then we destabilize a little bit and then they punch back. We sort of neutered their ability to hit us with that, piano-sized fist, if you will, things like the rogue nukes and the dirty bombs and the biological pathogens and things of that nature. And that's one of the reasons I believe that this special operation has been going on since at least 2015, 2016, and that President Trump was just a necessary and a sort of optical installation so the U.S. government could function as it was supposed to for a period of time and set the military up for phase 2, which would be post 2020 in the era and time that we're living now. So I think it's worth.
All right. So there you go. Out of all the influencers, Derek Johnson, SGNN, Russell J. Gold, in my opinion, are 3 for you to pay attention to. 3 that you can learn from. And Ethan Dean. Yeah, because I tell you what they don't tell you. I bring forward the good stuff that they're bringing to you, bringing to us, and I'm filling in the blanks and I'm connecting the dots so that you can own your authority. And again, if you knew who you were, none of this paperwork, none of these videos, none of this shit would be necessary. All right, so I have to, I got to go to my Telegram channel. I couldn't, maybe I could have set this up. I could have had the screen ready, but there was just too much coming at me. So I got to scroll back up here a day or two and that video from Russell, which is what I'm doing right now. And hopefully I don't just scroll right past it. I apologize for not being prepared, but you folks are motivated. I'm right here. I know I'm right here. There it is. All right. So let's see. We ended this at, we picked it up at, we let the 517 roll. And then we went to 927 where I did commentary. So I'm gonna mute this mic here, or not mic, but speaker. And I'm going to start this video, and I've got to fine tune it in here. I'm going to put it at 5 minutes and some seconds, and we'll let it roll straight through to we'll let it roll straight through to 927 or roughly thereabout. And so you can listen to that entire segment that we covered in part 2 with the breaks and the commentary. Just listen to it clean, and then use your recall on the commentary that went in there, and then we'll move forward. All right, here we go. Enjoy this.
Many facets of currencies, and as I release this to the public, each person, if they so choose, can put their own currency on the platforms. So back to this lady. Again, she is lost in time and space. Canada ceased to exist in 2017. The United States ceased to exist in 1999. The contracts that she's talking about are in violation of Title 18, 1001, fictitious grammar and fictitious names. And she has a what they call a document contract claim, otherwise 10A captioning violation for fictitious grammar. The verb of which is an adverb followed by an adjective and pronoun. So there are no facts here in what she's saying. So it's hard to move forward. But I definitely, she's acting like she's concerned about it because she's publishing this. So she needs to be cued in for sure.
Including law enforcement and military, understand that they're no longer employed by the United States of America.
So in 1999, when the United States government ceased to exist, all sheriff's departments were placed under FEMA as the continuity of government, later brought in with the fake 9/11 under Homeland Security, and all pay stubs on the microfiche print line for all pay stubs before they went into automatic deposits was paid by the International Monetary Fund. That was the sentence on all sheriffs. So the United States, the sheriffs work for their Homeland Security directors of their regions. And I've met with some of the Homeland Security directors. They come to my basketball games and talk to me. So that's pretty fascinating. But they, everything is, the world's finding out that it's just not what they think it is. And the social engineering is so bad. And they got the patriot community. They have everybody infighting so bad because everybody's, I'm going to be an American national. Well, that's an adjective pronoun. Or I'm going to be a state national. Well, that's an adjective pronoun. And exactly what post office are going to use, because I'm the one that claimed it. So they're not coming through my construct, and I'm not going to let them through unless they use correct grammar, because I'm only going to function in correct grammar because it's what I found to be correct. But this lady here, I feel sorry for her because she doesn't have a position. She has a birth certificate. She's in a lot of trouble, right? So this is someone who's lost in time and space, and not even in space, because there's no facts to show up in the space. So you have to be cautious on some of these podcasters out here. I've, believe it or not, I've turned off all alternative news podcasts. I've turned off everything. I just shut them all off. Said, yep, that's enough. Don't need to hear more lies. And I just shut it all off. I've done that for the last month now, and I feel like I've slept better. I'm not worried about anything. Everything's just really happy, and really everything's manifesting really positive in my world, in my space, just by doing that one thing, turning off the different things. People send me things, and I'll take a quick glance, but it's not what I'm into. I'm into living and loving life.
But here are some things that you need to consider. 1, if you have no country, what rights do you have, and how does one assert them?
Oh, sorry about that. I don't know why they did that.
Abandoned back in 1999 and vacated by the U.S. Post Office in the year 2000 during the presidential election in violation of Title 39 and Love and Life.
Here are some things that you need to consider. 1, if you have no country, what rights do you have, and how does one assert them?
Okay, that is a great thing. Yes, she's exactly right. The country ended in 1999, but we rewrote the Constitution in quantum grammar, and there's a quantum grammar Constitution, and we put the articles of that Constitution on our contracts when we file them in our market trade ports, when we file them in on our contracts, and those are the articles that you'd have. Another thing that she's not doing is she's not setting up the boundaries of her space, which means that anyone that she's in usury with, she's not a postmaster with, right? So you have to put performance contracts in, and you have to start setting the terms for your world, right? Because it's your space, because there's nothing out there. So this woman, wants to assert rights and
all right, so that's oh no, that was 97.
There's a Constitution, but the Constitution she's looking at doesn't say anything because it's written in fiction, right? And it was abandoned back in 1999 and vacant.
All right, so that's where we ended with part 2. So you got to listen to that straight through without the commentary. And so if you participated in part 1 and part 2 and you got the commentary, you should be starting to put some of these pieces together. Your power to be sovereign is knowing who you are, what constitutes you. And it's very simple. The other thing you need to know is that virtually everything that you know, everything that you have been taught, is a lie. So think about Elon Musk. Now, who is this guy? Where did he come from? And why does he have so much influence, so much power? And have you ever seen him express emotion? Think about that. Have you ever seen that man express emotion? Just blah, 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 blah. I think we're living in a simulation. You are. You're living under a simulated government. It's not a true government. It is not a lawful government. It is a slave system. It is demonic. And it needs to be destroyed. And all you brain dead, toxified fucks who insist that that demonic system make a fucking correction for you, can't you get it through your head? It ended in 1999. It ended in 1999. It's fucking rogue. That's why things are the way they are. And this is why the white hats are doing what they do. And if that wasn't possible, this kind of a talk on this kind of a platform would not be possible. And I believe that when I first started putting videos out, it was the demonic fucks that were oppressing and suppressing my voice. At this point, I'm not sure. I'm tending to believe that it's the white hats that are oppressing and suppressing my voice. And if that is the case, that's an honor. That's a privilege. And it is, wow. That's something. And I can relate to why that would be going on. But I can't wait for the military. I haven't waited for the military. I ordered the damn military. Not damn military. I ordered the military as prosecutor in the high court. Ordered the military to readiness and to report for duty back in the summer of 2001. Oh, as the executive emergency manager, not as prosecutor. Because of all the work I did as prosecutor, I went back to the Constitution and the state's constitutions. Okay. Now, again, I want to reiterate for all of you who want to talk about your constitutional rights, forget it. Forget that. Your rights are unalienable, unalienable, indefeasible. You have all power. How do you know that? Study your state constitutions. Now, your state constitutions have a lot of fuckery in them. The British agents have worked on them over the years. And that a lot of that stuff is easy to spot when you know how to look at it. But the reason I say study your state constitutions, even though they're babble, even though there's not a legal sentence on there, probably in most cases, I mean, maybe there is, but the vast majority, it's babble and no legal sentence. However, the information is there. So for those of you who want to know what your unalienable, unalienable, indefeasible rights are that can never be diminished, can never be compromised? Read the state constitutions. The oldest ones you can find are the better. Now, I compiled 48 of them in a Word document and titled it 48 Love Letters. It has been attacked on my website. It was removed from my, or made inaccessible, wouldn't open. GoDaddy said there was no signs of any attack. Well, they got there and they hit my computer. But fortunately, I had it backed up on a memory stick. So on the memory stick, I retitled it. I changed the title. I changed it to 48 Love Letters. And I put it back up on the website in the documents section on the services page. And it's there for you. And it has been attacked. I know, because there was something that I remember quite well that was in the New York Constitution. It had to do with the courts, and it's gone. So the fuckery just continues and continues and continues. All right. Where are we at? We're already half an hour into this, and we have not moved forward from the 9-minute 27-second mark, except for maybe a couple of seconds. So I'm going to let this play for a minute or two. I'm going to go roll me another cigarette so I can continue exercising my lungs. And here's some information for you folks.
By the U.S. Post Office in the year 2000 during the presidential election in violation of Title 39, Section 101, subsection A and subsection B. No Constitution, no president. So they had to vacate it to follow their own terms, which they did. And now they vacated the estate, and now they're just putting social engineering to undermine the good people of the world. And, unfortunately, there are a few that it seems that they have a death cult for themselves, not against us, of course, but for themselves, because the very thing that they built to destroy us will destroy them. These are some of the things you can do and become a postmaster. Step 7 is a wonderful application that we tender in fortheclaimofthelife.com, and you get a claim of the life with us. You get to get the protocols of having how to register your ship's papers, right? And how to be neutral when you do that, right? Because they are in a space of war, and you guys don't have authorization to go to war against them.
All right. I'm that up for my own benefit, because Russell just said a couple of things there that I want to comment on, but I brain farted because I have, in most cases, 2-3 thoughts happening at the same time, and 1 or 2 others that are fighting for space. And I keep them blocked out while I'm wrestling with the 2 or 3, but it's just like a constant battle. That's just what happened. I just brain farted. And this particular audio doesn't give me a back button where I can back like 10 seconds and just keep tapping it, or back 15 seconds and just keep tapping it. And so I got to scroll it with my finger, and it's real hard. So this is 10 minutes, 34 seconds. I want to back up about a minute. There we go. I did it. Here we go.
2000 during the presidential election in violation of Title 39, Section 101, subsection A and subsection B. No Constitution, no president. So they had to vacate it to follow their own terms, which they did. And now they vacated the estate, and now they're just putting social engineering to undermine the good people of the world. And, unfortunately, there are a few that it seems that they have a death cult for themselves, not against us, of course, but for themselves, because the very thing that they built to destroy us will destroy them. These are some of the things you can do and become a postmaster. Step 7 is a wonderful application that we tender in fortheclaimofthelife.com, and you get a claim of the life with us. You get to get the protocols of having how to register your ship's papers, right? And how to be neutral when you do that, right? Because
All right. You're registering your ship's papers. All right. What Russell's talking about there is only applying during this time of war, because you have dual systems. You have the demonic, lying, administrative fuckery over here, and you've got truth and fact and now space and love over here. So you got these two things happening at the same time. It's war. So the all caps name, the fraud, it's all set up for shipping, for slavery. They have enslaved you with this babble, got you spellbound. And if I can break the post office, if I can break the post office with this first class postage paid registered mail, then you all have what you need to contract as sovereign without Ross. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't go the last flag standing way with Russ. I do, but I didn't facilitate a claim of the life with Russ. I acknowledge who he is, what he's done. Now, one of the things that Russ put forward was encouraging we the people to be tone setters. I think I've been a tone setter. As far as I know, I'm the only one who has contracted sovereign through the post and all by myself. And I have been bringing it forward so that you can do the same. And when I go to the post office, who's going to come stand with me? Last time there was a few more people than there was the time before. And we learned that 6 eyes and 3 cameras were not enough. And then when we went back, we had more cameras and more eyes, and it was a much more peaceful. But still, the roadblock is there. The dam is there. The next time I go back, it's going to be a little bit different. And I'm going to be doing some extensive, detailed talking about that Kalkaska post office and how I intend to deal with it and how you can play a part and why you should. So we're gonna let this roll again. Russell -J Gould period.
are in a space of war, and you guys don't have authorization to go to war against them. Nor would you want to. That's a whole cesspool of filth. Those generals, shame on those generals. Yes, no, the U.S. military does not work for the people. Thank you, lady. Yes, they work for the generals, and the generals are all whores. They're bought and paid for. Our generals in the U.S. military are whores, right? They took the money. They like the money. The admirals, the vice admirals, they're all on the take, and they get paid to run a jet. It's private venture capital that comes in and pays the U.S. military, not your tax dollars. For crying out loud. That doesn't go to.
All right. What's he talking about? U.S. military, United States military that ended in 1999. Yeah. It ended in 1999 and has operated as rogue ever since. That doesn't mean the Unity-States of the America Army or military. Fiction, fuckery, truth, fact, now space, love, war. You get it? You get it? It's very simple. You don't have to study the fraud. You don't have to study the fiction. You don't have to be a treasonous fat fuck playing Bonds for the Win, playing David Lester Straight, playing Chris Hauser, playing Alphonse, playing Yusuf. All these motherfuckers dragging you down into the demonic system. Stop filing anything in it. You drag them motherfuckers into your court, the high court, the court of law, the court of truth and fact. And they are powerless. Rebel, welcome. You said you're here a little bit late. There's some good information to catch up on, what you missed in the beginning, I think. Much love, brother. I'm glad you're here. Here we go. It's a little bit more Russell. Let's see, where are we at right now? We're at 11 minutes and 9 seconds.
Anything? This is all privately funded war machine. There's a war machine, death agenda to kill us all. They're carrying out the programs. I think they're pretty special. The cool thing about these generals is that when they get about 80 years old, they pull the funzo out from underneath them and they roll them under the bus and they give them the pill and they get to die a quick death. So that's their fate. And that's pretty cool to watch. The generals all get rolled under the bus as they age. And so it's just interesting watching the older ones try to hold on. When you've been behind the scenes like I have with some of these guys and you watch these generals try to hold on, and that's where they got their Cefellis and their little runners for the CIA. That's what they use them patsies for.
Two, the oath of office. If your country
Yes, and so fiction can't take an oath because it doesn't say anything, and they don't comply with it anyways because it doesn't say anything. The leaders know that they don't have to do anything. They do what they want. That's why they change the laws, they change the rules, and they fit it to whatever money and the vested generals in that area allow through. And it's all war theater, the whole thing. So that's why we have the oath on our contract. So we comply with having an oath to perform our contracts to stop and correct and be neutral postmasters during a case of war.
Three, if you're
Be a postmaster. That's where your sovereign power is. What constitutes you as a living soul? With breath, with flowing blood. What constitutes you? You have all power. How do you know? Well, if you don't know, that's part of your problem. Indiana Constitution, under political power. Most all states under political power say all political power is inherent in the people. Now, again, this is babble, yet you can clearly comprehend that. You can clearly know the volition. Indiana Constitution under political power states all power is inherent in the people. All power. All. Not some power, not sometimes all power. All power is inherent in the people. All right. There's another about 5 minutes of this that that I'm going to cover in part 4. We'll wrap up what Russell has to say here in part 4, and if you want to listen to this entire video, if you want to listen to this video in its entirety, you can join my Telegram channel, Citizen Science Oral Health Chat. The link is in the description of my videos. And this was posted on August 24th. It's a forward message from Russell, Russell -J, Goulds. It's coming from his Telegram channel. If you want to catch it on his Telegram channel, you can go over there and find it too. I'm not sure what date it was posted. Let me see. Did I get that right? Yeah, that's right. August 24th. So, does anybody have any questions? This is a good time to put your questions in. I'll take another couple of seconds here because I know it takes a minute to type. And at any rate, I hope you found this information valuable and powerful, and that you're going to own your authority. You are going to step up and do what needs to be done for you so that you can be sovereign in your heart, in your soul, in your mind. You can be constituted sovereign. And once you know who you are, baby, there ain't no going back. No going back. All right, everybody. I love you. Own your authority. Much love. Much love.